What's up guys, my name is Connie Joy and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you are not new here, welcome back. For those of you who don't know anything about me or my children, I just became active recently on my YouTube channel and I started vlogging, doing vlogs every 3 days. I wanted to begin by saying this is not clickbait at all. I'm a nurse and I'm gonna be talking about something that is probably very controversial considering everything that's going on. The coronavirus is a global pandemic right now. The coronavirus, just the word, it became like the Voldemort. You can't say that in public. I just want to share what I experienced, what I witnessed my children experience, and what my thoughts are in correlation with the coronavirus. The more that doctors think that they know about the virus, the more we actually find that we don't know about the virus. The coronavirus is a very unpredictable virus and it's highly contagious. Everything that we do know is based on the cases that are actually being reported. There are cases that are not being reported. People don't always report it. They don't always seek a doctor. They don't always go and get checked out. So those numbers are not factored into the statistics. As a matter of fact, right when I began vlogging, me and my children both got sick. And I want to say like the third or the fourth vlog in, we all became really sick. First it started with me. The coronavirus was out. We knew about it, but it wasn't global yet. We didn't have that many cases that had been reported. There were a few cases. It wasn't like what it is right now. First, I started having like a sore throat. I woke up and my throat was like a little bit sore. I'm gonna make myself some tea because my throat's a little bit irritated for some reason. I'm a little bit congested. I was convinced that it was allergies, and it seemed like it was allergies. Here, I'm in New Jersey on the East Coast. We have not really gotten a winter. We got like a combination of what I would consider spring and fall weather, and even right now our grass is beginning to really grow. Our flowers are blooming. We didn't really get a winter, so I'm sitting here thinking to myself, this is probably just allergies. My sore throat started to develop into a cough. I didn't feel run down, I didn't have a fever, but my cough first started out being a dry cough, and then I want to say in a matter of like 2 days it progressed to like this productive cough. And you can actually see, like, I vlogged why I was having coughing spells. I started coughing, and then like out of nowhere I had to run to the bathroom because I wasn't throwing up, I was coughing up like all this mucus. You could see the strain in my eyes. You can see it in my face. I was just so like just totally washed out. I was like pale, and I just really, it was insane. Like I have never coughed like that in my life. I was coughing so much that I was coughing so much that I was peeing my pants. I'm not kidding, I'm dead serious. Good, I only peed on myself once today from coughing. That's great, because yesterday I probably should have put on a diaper. I was peeing my pants. I was peeing my pants for a good 2 weeks. It progressed for so long. I had a cough, I still have a cough. I want to say I have like 5% of the cough that I had. I still have a little bit of mucus, not like I had before. I had this cough for at least 3 weeks. 3 weeks. It took about 2 to 3 days to really take off, and it was at its peak for literally 2.5 weeks. It wasn't like it was, you know, taking off and then it got bad and then it was dwindling down. It took off and it was bad for a while. I still kept on thinking that, you know, even as it progressed, this is just probably a cold, because once I was convinced that it wasn't allergies, I said to myself, this is probably just a cold. Then by the time that my boys had gotten sick, I stopped thinking about my cough and started worrying more about them and their symptoms and what could be wrong with them. And still, I still kept thinking to myself, okay, it's not allergies at this point. I haven't developed any new symptoms, but it's probably just a cold. First, Jaden got sick. My oldest, Jaden, got sick. He's my 10-year-old. He woke up and he had a fever. Brace yourself. Right now, Jaden actually is running a fever. He woke up this morning running a fever of 102.3. Cross your fingers, because the last thing that I want is that kid to have the flu. And I kept a really close, detailed log of both of my kids' temperatures, because the flu was at my job and we don't get the flu vaccination, and I was like, what if, you know, what if I brought the flu back? So I wanted to make sure that I kept a very detailed log of everything in case we did end up having to go to the hospital or something like that. So Jaden's first temperature was 102.3, and that was on a Saturday morning. For his temperature to go up that high out of nowhere, and he had a little bit of a cough, but it was like nothing. It was just like, oh, you know, like the common cold cough. He had a tiny bit of a cough. So still, like, you know, it wasn't enough. There wasn't enough of anything for me to say, you know, oh my God, you've got, you know, X, Y, and Z. So, and still, like, we didn't have similar symptoms. He had a little bit of a cough, but he also had a fever. He clearly at that point started having a runny nose, started becoming congested, became irritable, you know, didn't want to eat. So, you know, he had cold-like symptoms. And he still didn't have enough going on at that time for me to say, oh, you've got the flu or something like that. Jaden went on to continue having a fever, and I did start treating him with Motrin, and I was alternating Tylenol back and forth with Motrin. And then I gave him breakfast and he vomited, and that's when I started thinking, like, this might be the flu. And I thought that maybe he had the flu. I never really thought to go take the boys to the hospital or to urgent care or anything like that right away in the beginning, because you have to pretty much wait until you have to let these symptoms pretty much unfold and treat them as they come before you can go and just run and jump to conclusions. We were getting into, I want to say, like the 48-hour mark where he still had a fever. I was able to treat his fever. It would go down, but it was only going down because of the Tylenol or the Motrin. He didn't have an appetite. He was lethargic. He had the cough. He had the fever. He had the runny nose. He had the sore throat. As of Saturday, Jaden had all of the symptoms of the coronavirus. Now, the respiratory difficulties, the respiratory distress, that is with severe cases. But Jaden had all of the symptoms of the coronavirus. He had a fever from Saturday all the way to Thursday. He had a fever for 5 days. Now, his fever was off and on. I want to say for the first 3 days, his fever stuck around. The fact that the boys, you know, Jaden had gotten sick and I had this crazy cough, our symptoms were still scattered. I had some of the symptoms. I had all the symptoms except for one. Jaden had all of the symptoms for a mild case. Jaden had more flu-like symptoms, like more direct flu-like symptoms. Joshua had cold-like symptoms. I had virus-like symptoms. Then Joshua got hit, and Joshua had the bad cough. Oh, baby. Oh, Peanut. His cough was very productive, and you can hear the mucus moving up and down. Joshua's fever started, at 100.2. I knew that he had definitely probably caught what Jaden had, and his fever actually continued. Joshua's fever went on for 6 days, Jaden's fever went on for 5 days, and Jaden's highest temperature went to be 103.7. All the while that they've got runny noses, they're congested, they have a cough, lots and lots of mucus. When I first started having my cough, you know, I would lay down. I'd be laying down and I would literally sit here and think to myself, like, yo, shit, I feel like I can't really breathe. And I'm small. I'm only 130 pounds. I'm 5'1". I'm very small. So I don't need, like, special positioning, like certain pillows behind me. I don't need all that for breathing, you know what I mean? So but I was laying in bed and I was just like, yo, I really feel like I can't breathe, like I'm having difficulty breathing. And I was like, you know, it's probably all in my head, because sometimes, you know, sometimes it's all in your head. So I repositioned myself and I'm just like, no, I really can't breathe. So I just sit up and I like start like, you know, taking some deep breaths, and the mucus was just so thick and it was so heavy on my chest. It got to the point where like when it got to be like, I want to say like by like day like 13, 14, I was like, you know what, I'm thinking about going to see a doctor, because I was taking something over the counter. Okay. Yeah, my girlfriend had told me about this, and she told me that she swears by this, and I bought this. This was my second box, and this comes in a, you get 20 capsules. I was taking it and it was working, it was helping, but it wasn't clearing it all up, and that's why I got a second box. And I was literally taking it around the clock, and it wasn't, you know, it was literally taking like the edge off. Now for me, all I had was the cough. Now the cough was like, it was deathly. When it was like 9 days, I was just like, alright, this is a virus of some sort, because it's not clearing up. And I would have these coughing spells where I actually started gagging. I was coughing so much that it was stimulating my gag reflex, and I was gagging. I wasn't throwing up, I was coughing up like all of this mucus. And then I started to vomit, and I was actually vomiting up mucus. It was nothing but mucus. It was like insane, and I'm just like, I started thinking to myself like, yeah, like maybe I've got bronchitis or something. And me being, you know, me being lazy and me, you know, procrastinating, I didn't go to the doctors, and it truly took like 3 weeks. 3 weeks to clear up. It took 3 whole weeks for that to clear up, and that's how I knew. I was just like, this is not a cold, this is not allergies, this is something else. This is something, and it's strong. Whatever it is, it's very strong. And when I've heard these other reports about the coronavirus, or people have, wherein like younger people or people that have maybe a stronger immune system, that it might even present just as the common cold in them. And I'm just sitting here thinking to myself like, I thought what I had was a virus, but at first I was like, this is the common cold, but it's a bad cold. And then because of the, you know, the extension of time that I had it, I was like, this, I knew it was a virus. Like my cough was concerning. We were about to go to the doctors, and then finally the boys' fevers broke. I was gonna say, you know what, honestly, this is insane. I can't take it anymore, because their fevers were also going up and down, like, and you'll see that in my vlogs. Like I will put in my description all the links for all of the vlogs from the beginning of when the fevers and all the symptoms began until it ended. And you can see, even in my very last vlog, I was coughing. I still have my cough. Like I've never had a cough in my life like that. I have never peed my pants because of coughing so much, coughing so hard, and having no control over it, like uncontrollable. I had to wear a panty liner. I had to wear a panty liner literally for almost a month. The news was portraying this to be this, you catch it, you drop dead virus. So I was expecting, if I had the virus, if he's had the virus, we, you know, we're gonna probably really be in like some real serious trouble. We're gonna be in all types of respiratory distress, and he's young, he's a child, he's gonna be like really, really not well. Like I'm expecting, you know, if that's the case, the more that I find out, the more that I realize that it's not the craziest thing in the world for people to have come in contact with the coronavirus. It doesn't sound insane at all if you really think about it, because people are not all reporting their cases. Not everybody is being seen and being treated. That's number one. Number two, there have been cases that have been reported because of people that got tested, but they only got tested because they were exposed to somebody who tested positive for the coronavirus. So they went and got tested, but they were symptom free. So that's for the people that found out that someone else that they were around tested positive for the virus. The other people that may not know don't know, so they're spreading it to other people. I'm in Jersey. How in the name of God it would get over to me the way that it gets to everybody? It's contagious. You know, it needs a host. The host is a human being. People are everywhere. So it's not even insane to think. It really isn't. Some people are testing positive and they don't have all of the symptoms of the coronavirus. There are also cases in America that don't have all the symptoms and aren't being tested, but we know now that there are people that have been tested that didn't have all the symptoms and that are tested and being tested positive. It leaves a lot to the imagination. It's scary. It is scary, and I really feel terrible for the people that have lost their lives because of this. This is literally attacking people that don't have age on their side and that have respiratory compromises. Like, it's fucked up. You'd have to be very small-minded to not think that this is possible. Did we have the coronavirus? Did I have the coronavirus? To be completely honest with you, I literally don't know. I don't know if we have the coronavirus. Did we have all of the symptoms of the coronavirus that we would have? For me being a 32-year-old woman and both my kids being a 10-year-old boy and a 6-year-old boy, for us being otherwise healthy, we don't have compromised immune systems for the most part. Based on the information that the news is giving us, based on what we know, we probably all may have had the coronavirus already. We are not testing because we don't have all the test kits that we need to test everyone. People are going untested, but people are also going untested because they may not meet the criteria for what you guys think the coronavirus symptoms are. As of right now in New Jersey, there are 269 reported coronavirus cases. I'm in Pennsauken, and there's a case that's in Cherry Hill. They're being quarantined. Now that I've shared my experience with what me and my children went through with our virus, whether it was the coronavirus or another virus, I do want to share some information and hope that it is informative to you. Although we do not know that much about the coronavirus, what we do know is that it is a virus and we should treat it just like another virus. With any virus, with any bacteria, with any germ, we need to prioritize hand hygiene. That means washing your hands before you eat, after you eat. Don't go overboard, don't go crazy, just wash your hands. When you go to the bathroom, things like that. Before you're cooking, after you're done cooking, wash your hands for 20 seconds. Also, there is no need to douse your house in bleach. If it's not been at your house or you haven't recently been sick, you don't have to go to the extreme and go crazy. You're gonna drive yourself completely insane. If you are not feeling well, or if you have any of the symptoms like a runny nose, a sore throat, a cough, if you're feeling run down, having flu-like symptoms, or a cold that just seems like it might be a virus because it won't go away, you should definitely call your doctor. Do not go to the hospital, do not go to urgent care, call your doctor first. From my understanding, they're actually treating all of the positive cases for the coronavirus separately from other treatment facilities. I think that that's actually it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up.